Hello, everyone. Welcome to all our Sante business owners. If you can post in the chat where you are. We'd like to welcome people from outside the Philippines, from Hong Kong, Macau, um, and from if there's anybody from Africa who's in here. I want to welcome you all, and I want to congratulate you all for giving time to increase knowledge and invest in your business, and just being able to walk with us through these very challenging and exciting times in the Philippines, the time of COVID. Welcome to everyone, and let's just have a great time encouraging one another during this session with our handsome James Bond from New Zealand, Mr. Peter Hope. So thank you, everyone. Welcome to this webinar.
Okay, so what do we have this afternoon, Ate Minette, is an explanation of how our barley grass is being certified organic. So for you, Ate Minette, how important it is to be certified organic? Because others, there are a lot of barley, right? But I know the others are not really certified. So I myself, I always tell this to my product trainings, that the certification is not only there because we wanted to, but this is we really emphasize the importance of being certified. So what's your take on this, Ate Minette?
Yeah, if you've been attending any of the product trainings, you would know that one of the leading causes of sickness and death globally is cancer. And when we ingest plants, any food product that has artificial fertilizers, artificial pesticides, the probability of exposure to carcinogens are higher. So that's the one, probably one of the most important reasons why we want to emphasize that we're certified organic, is because we are aware that one of the causes of sickness is really all the pollutants, all the carcinogens that are found in food, particularly those coming from fertilizers and pesticides. One of the most notorious pesticides would be Roundup, which is being used by farmers for growing, and it's the one that's usually that comes from Monsanto, and really is very harmful to our bodies. So that's probably one of the most important reasons why we are certified organic.
Yes, I agree with that also. That's why our resource speaker for this afternoon, he will discuss the importance of being certified, why is organic important, what are the things we need to do. We will really learn a lot. So owners, are you ready? So be ready with your pen and paper. If I were you, jot down some notes, because this will really help you out, okay? To formally introduce our resource speaker, I'll just read some of his profile, okay? He has brought to Sante New Zealand Limited his extensive no-nonsense knowledge of organic farming. He is an authority in dairy and mixed sheep and cropping farming in New Zealand, proven track record in developing marketing and supporting management information system and manufacturing system. He also boasts 10 years experience in the Australian minerals industry, known for his expertise in managing the delivery of computing services to 3 large Australian aluminum smelters. Prior to taking over to managing director, he was the general manager of Claridge's Organic Limited, one of the oldest companies focused in exporting in New Zealand. His other previous positions include general manager operations in marketing. He's a loving father of 3 sons, right? And a caring husband to Judy. Let's all welcome our Managing Director of Sante New Zealand, Peter Ho. Warm of applause. Hi, Peter.
Hi there, Bing. How are you? Welcome,
Kamusta
kumusta po kayo?
ka?
Welcome from Christchurch, New Zealand.
Yes, I remember you did a Tagalog speech during one of our, I think that was Salvo. It was Salvo the last time, okay?
Yes, yes.
So,
My
and,
Tagalog has slipped a little bit since then.
and also Peter said his Tagalog name is Pedro Pag-asa. Is that
Yes,
right?
yes. Kuya Pedro Pagasa. That's
Kuya.
my Bali name.
You are really fitted for us here in the Philippines, Pedro and Pag-asa, because we always give hope, we always give Pag-asa to our business owners. Okay, so I would like you to give the floor to you, Peter, and then you can start sharing and then educating us, because I know you have a lot to share. So business owners ready? Okay, Peter?
Okay. All right. I've got a little presentation that I will try and share with you right now. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
There we go. And
Yes.
can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Fabulous. Okay. Well, folks, today I'm going to give you a short presentation on understanding the path to becoming a certified organic producer, because it is quite a investment, and it has a lot of implications for your business. So be sure, I know that I've got a strange New Zealand accent. I will try and speak slowly, but if you've got any questions, write them down, and I'm sure we'll field them, and I will try my best to answer them at the end. But let's get on and have a look at the path to organic certification, because you will realize that each producer of barley in New Zealand is a certified organic producer. You will realize that all the people that handle the product between the field and you, including Sante International, are certified organic. And that is a really big deal. So the whole supply chain from the field to you is certified organic. And so what I would like to have you understand at the end of this little presentation is, one, many people say, oh, I'm organic, or we're organic, you know? But there is a big difference between saying that, and a lot of people are saying that in the market, between that and being certified organic. And I want you to really be able to understand what that difference is. Okay, and the second thing I want you to understand is the journey that particularly a farmer takes to becoming certified organic, and so that you can realize the investment in time and money and energy that goes into doing it. The third thing I want you to really realize is that everybody who touches the product in a chain is likewise certified. And finally, what I'd like you to understand is I think there are real advantages to you as business owners in the market in knowing that your product has gone through this rigorous process. So those are 4 things I want to touch on. So let's get going. Okay, so first thing, back here in New Zealand, in my home, I have got a vegetable garden, and I've got some little fruit trees, and I grow vegetables, and I have a beehive. This is not on the farm. This is just at my house. And I don't use artificial pesticides or fertilizers on my garden. So I suppose I could call myself an organic gardener. Okay. So if I'm meeting you for coffee, I could say, oh, well, I'm an organic gardener. But it's a difference between saying I'm an organic gardener than saying I'm a certified organic producer. To be a certified organic producer, you need to be certified by an independent certifying body. And in New Zealand, there are two such bodies. One is called Assure Quality, and one is called BioGrow New Zealand. Now, in our case, we are certified through BioGrow New Zealand. So what does this independent certifying body do? Well, it has a set of standards. And if they're going to certify you, you need to produce or farm according to their standards. And they have a team of auditors. And every year they check that you are doing that. So it's not just the producer saying, oh, like I might say about my garden, oh, I'm organic. No, 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 no. It is an independent certifying body saying these people are organic. They produce to these standards. And if they don't, we will take their certification away from them. Okay, so true organic certification requires a competent and reputable independent checker of how you operate. Okay, it's not just you, it's somebody else saying these people are doing the right thing. Now, also, when I say BioGrow is independent, it is also verified and authorized by the New Zealand government. Okay, so it's not just them, it's the New Zealand government saying these people are operating on our behalf. So that's important. Right, so why would a producer go through all the effort and expense to become certified organic? Okay, and actually it's a lot about the people who are doing it. You know, the people that I've met in the organic movement, they've really got a philosophy about the way they produce. What they want to do is they want to farm or produce or operate in a way that improves the environment and doesn't degrade it. And it's a wonderful thing to be working with people who really care about that. It's really cool, you know. The second thing is, if you say you're certified organic and that you apply, you take upon yourself to do what it takes to be certified organic, immediately your credibility with your customers must improve, because you have someone checking that you're doing what you say you're going to do. It's not just talk, it's real life expense and work. Again, generally in this modern world, people are looking for safe and reliable forms of food. Okay, they want to have assurance that what they're eating is safe and reliable. And when you're certified organic, you have that assurance. Okay, and finally, I guess when you go through the certified organic path, you're really showing commitment, because it's a 3-year journey to do it. Okay. I saw someone raise their hand. Bing, do I carry on, or should we just do that at the end?
I think you just carry on, Peter.
Okay, I'll carry on and we'll field any questions at the end. Super. Okay, next step. So imagine this, that I am a conventional farmer, and I have been reading and I've been looking at things, and I've decided that I want to become a certified organic farmer. And so what is the journey that I'm going to take? Say that I've got a farm of 400 hectares and I'm growing wheat and barley on that farm and grazing sheep, and I've decided that I want to become certified organic. What do I do? How do I go about it? Okay, so the first thing I need to decide is who I'm going to get to certify me. And I, in this case, would go to BioGrow. And BioGrow is the largest certifier in New Zealand. And I would approach BioGrow, and the first thing I would do is get an application to do it. Okay, and they would give me the application form, and the application is big. Okay, the application requires you to provide an awful lot of information about your farm. You have to provide maps of your farm. You have to show where you've got trees, what your storage areas are, what the fencing and the boundaries are. You have to show that you could create buffer zones between yourself and neighbouring farms who aren't certified organic. You need to show where all the fields are. In New Zealand, we use the word paddock. So if I use the word paddock, I mean field, okay? But we have this strange old word called paddock. And you need to show how all the paddocks are fenced, okay? Then you have to give the history of the property for the last at least 2 years. You have to provide BioGrow with soil tests that show the fertility of your farm, that show the organic matter in the soil. That's a very, very important thing, the level of organic matter. You have to show any pesticide residues that are in the farm. It is a sobering thought that all farms still show 30 or 40 years later evidence of DDT. So a farm could had no DDT on it for say 30 years, and you can still find tiny, tiny bits of DDT in the soil 30 years on. So isn't that an interesting thing, and a sobering thought about the way we have been treating the earth, and how perhaps we need to think about treating the earth in the future. Okay, so you need to show any residues that are on your land, and your land must meet certain criteria for residue. You can't, if it's got high residues, it will not be converted to certified organic. Okay, you have to create, I've got the acronym OMP, it's the Organic Management Plan. You need to show BioGrow how you are going to manage this farm organically for the next 12 months. And you also have to include an environmental management plan on how you're going to improve the environment, just not just your farming techniques, but improve the areas of trees, the biodiversity for the next 12 months. And where you have got neighbouring properties that are not certified organic, you have to show BioGrow that you have got agreements with them, that they are going to modify their behaviour, their spraying, to make sure that there's no drift onto your farm. Okay, so you do all that, and you get all that information together and you provide it to BioGrow, and then one of their auditors comes out to your farm and does what we call the registration audit. And this is the baseline. Okay, this is the baseline for the next 3 years, and the next 3 years you need to follow the guidelines and the standards put out by BioGrow in the way that you produce. In the first year, you're just considered to be registered with the BioGrow. In the second year, you have this sort of semi certification called certified in conversion. So you can tell the world, well, I'm not certified yet, but I'm getting there. Okay? And the third year, again, you can call yourself certified in conversion. And if after 36 months of operating according to BioGrow's standards and being audited every year, you get it right, you can call yourself a BioGrow organically certified producer. Okay, and so you have invested 3 years of your life. You have committed your livelihood to a new way of farming. So it's a big thing, okay? So the people that you are dealing with are really serious about organics. And, okay, the next thing. One of the most important things you need to do on this journey is keep really, really good records of your production, because every year you will be checked. You will be checked about what you used to fertilise the ground. You are allowed to use approved fertilisers like compost and certain approved fertilisers. If you're running animals, you must have treated them with approved treatments. You must account for all the inputs and the outputs to your property. So you really have to be good with your record keeping. And for some farmers, that's a bit of a struggle. But all our guys are really, really good at doing that. Okay. So every year we have the BioGrow audit. And as I said, you start off with a registration audit, and then you have one of those every year until 36 months have passed, and you can call yourself certified organic. So in preparation for that audit, and I've been through lots of these audits in my past, not necessarily as a farmer, but as a distributor exporter. And I'll explain that a bit later. But the first thing you've got to do, you've got to operate every day according to the BioGrow standards. You've got to keep records of those operations. Every year you have to look at your organic management plan, and if you plan to do different things in the next 12 months, you need to update it. You have to pay BioGrow quite a large fee that runs to the thousands of New Zealand dollars. And then you have to undergo the audit every year. And then you have a thing called a non-conformance. So just about every audit that you ever have, you normally get some small non-conformances, like you didn't have this certificate from us input there, or you didn't do that. And so the auditor gives you a list of things that you need to brush up on. You've got to fix those up within a month, and then you pass the audit, or you don't pass the audit. And if you don't pass the audit, then you don't progress. Okay? So this is basically the audit process. As I say, you've got your current organic management plan. The BioGrow auditor comes onto the property, looks at your organic management plan, checks your operations, walks around the property, makes sure everything's correct. It'll give you some non-conformances or non-compliances. There is a type of non-compliance called a critical non-compliance, which you do not want to get, because a critical non-compliance can mean your certification is taken away from you. I've been helping some people who've had a critical non-compliance, and believe you me, it's not a very pleasant process. So yeah, the audit process is undertaken by people who have got a lot of experience in agriculture or horticulture or the field, and they usually have a university degree in the field. Okay, so they're very skilled, and they know all the excuses. There's nowhere to hide. Okay. Right. So I said every year you have your organic management plan that you adjust according to what you're going to plan to do for the next 12 months. There are certain key things that you have to do, whatever farm or whatever sort of farmer you are, you have to operate to certain key sustainable management principles. Okay, so the first thing is you have to abide by the law. Employment law, animal welfare law, commercial law. You have to, as a certified organic producer in New Zealand, abide by all New Zealand statutes and industry requirements that are there. You can't operate outside them in any way. Okay, the second thing, you need to embrace a management practice that is enhancing, it is nurturing, right? You have to have in place plans that mean that your soil quality is going to be improved, that the biodiversity of your property is going to be improved. Those of you who have been out to New Zealand, have visited the farm, you would have visited places that have been planted to give space for birds. You've seen the creeks that run through the farm, how crystal clear they are, how they've been planted around to enhance the beneficial insects' homes. And you would have seen this in operation. Okay, in your management, in your production, you have to avoid pollution, erosion, and soil structure damage. So we even though we're certified organic, we have a lot of technology on the farms. Like we've got 350 horsepower tractors and implements that are 9 meters wide that can cultivate 100 hectares a day. Okay, these are big machines, and we have to be very, very careful that those big machines don't compact and damage the soil. And so what the farmers do is the machines are run by GPS. So that when they're actually operating, the farmer's not even touching the steering wheel sometimes on the farm, on the tractors. But what they do is they plan the passes they do over the land, the number of the times the tractor goes over the land, so it doesn't go on the same place twice. So it doesn't squash the worms in the soil. Okay. Finally, in New Zealand, the native people of New Zealand, the Maori, have got values in the land. There are things that they believe about the land. They are tangata whenua, which means the people of the land. And you, as a certified organic producer, cannot operate in a way that is disrespectful of that. If you're running animals, you have to provide a high quality of animal welfare. You can't be a certified organic producer and treat your animals poorly. You simply cannot be done. Okay. And finally, you have to recycle and reuse any waste that's created in your operation well. So underpinning everything that you do, these things have to be happening. Okay. Right. Now I've got a video now and I really hope that it comes through to you. And it is a man called Mr. Tim Chamberlain, who is a 35-year experienced certified organic farmer who is a great partner with Sante, has grown certified organic barley for at least 25 years, one of the first growers in New Zealand. And he is a friend and partner of Sante New Zealand and Sante International. And he will have grown much of the product that you have marketed around the world so well. So this video is about Tim telling us about his journey to becoming a certified organic farmer. I'm going to play the video. I hope it comes through well. In the end, I will just do a little summary of it to make sure you got what he said. But here's Tim talking about the process of becoming a certified organic farmer with BioGrow. By the way, Tim was one of the people that developed the BioGrow standards. So you're talking to the guru, or you're listening to the guru. Here we go.
So our farm, when we arrived here, was farmed conventionally by my father. So it had a full range of herbicides and pesticides and fungicides used on the crops at that time, 35 years ago, and a range of fertilisers. So it was a big deal for the family to convert this to organics. It was a whole strata of products and knowledge. It was all of a sudden going to be not useful, and we needed to work out strategies and techniques and ways to still grow crops and grow them, abundantly. And at the time, as a 25-year-old, 26-year-old, I had probably a lot of confidence, but no experience, no understanding. And one of the greatest decisions we ever made on this farm, or one of the greatest decisions we ever made on this farm, was to do it slowly. So my father said, what we'll do, Tim, is we'll put the hardest to irrigate quarter of the farm into organics, and after 5 years of you working that land, we'll know if it's a good idea to carry on. And I, in the meantime, could carry on being a conventional farmer. So we didn't put the whole lot in immediately. We did it over a stage process, and that gave me time to develop skills, get a team around us, develop markets, and really that was the single best decision we've ever made on the farm. So my father has turned 86 the other day, and he still lives in his house on the farm, and one of the favourite things I do is occasionally hop in the truck and go around, talk about what I might be up to, and if I've got any questions or what his thoughts are. Yeah, so it was a big deal changing over, a big deal.
So I hope you got some of that. Just to reiterate, Tim decided 35 years ago he wanted to be a certified organic farmer, and he and his wife Rose came back to the family farm, and they he talked to his father, who was running the farm at that stage, and they decided that they weren't going to become certified organic all in one go, because if they got it wrong, that there was a risk that they wouldn't do it well and they would go out of business. So what they did is they took a quarter of the farm, and it took Tim 5 years to become skillful enough to actually farm that land properly. So it's a wonderful story, and Tim's been working with us for a long time now, and he knows a lot about doing this stuff. So that's from the horse's mouth. That's one of New Zealand's premier certified organic farmers. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is that this idea of a chain, right from the field to you guys. Okay? Now, the farmer can become certified organic, but the people that get the barley leaf and dry it, you know, in the drying plant, in the Santé drying plant, we need to be certified organic as well. And so BioGrow once a year comes and checks the drying plant. And I'm looking after the export of all this product to the Philippines, and once a year BioGrow comes and checks that I'm doing the right thing. And generally these other people, obviously we're not doing an organic management plan, but what we've got to do is keep separate organic products, certified organic product from other products. And we need to have brilliant records so that we know that everything, nothing gets mixed. So there's no mixing between certified organic product and non-certified organic product. So that's one of the key things that the BioGrow's looking when they're auditing the other players in the supply chain. And of course, over the last 2 years, Santé International has BioGrow organic certification. They are the only people in the Philippines and one of the very few other organisations in the world that BioGrow's ever worked with. So it is a source of great pride to say that Santé International is also BioGrow certified organic, and so are their toll packers. So that's a fantastic thing, and it's taken a lot of work to do it, I can tell you that. So finally, when you're a certified organic dude, you get to get the certified organic certificate. And there's an example of the front and the back of the certified organic certificate with a common seal of BioGrow New Zealand Limited. This is Santé New Zealand's current certified organic certificate. It tells the world that Santé New Zealand is a wholesale distributor and an exporter. And on the back, because there are certain different standards that you can be certified to, it shows the standards that Santé New Zealand are certified to. So if you haven't got one of these things and it's not current, then you aren't the real deal. And of course, we are the real deal. That is the path to becoming certified organic. At the start, I wanted to talk to you about 4 things. I wanted you to understand the difference between being certified organic and just calling yourself organic. Okay? I wanted you to understand the commitment that particularly a farmer has to go through to get to the end. Okay? It's long and it's tough. I wanted you to understand that there is a advantage in the market from having this commitment. Okay? And if I was you and I was out there with my business for, a Santé business, I would be, these are the things I would think. I would be very confident that the product that I am marketing is as good as you can get. It is safe, reliable, wholesome food, and people are checking that it's safe, reliable, and wholesome all the time. So it's confidence, right? And also you can know you're working with people who are genuine and committed and have got a lot of experience in doing this, okay? And the final thing is, I think it gives you an edge in the market. You know, someone says, oh, well, I'm organic. Well, you can say, well, I'm certified organic. And by the way, this is what this means. This means something, right? It means something. So that's my words for the moment. I'm pass you over to Bing, and I will answer any questions if I possibly can. I can't hear you, Bing, at the moment.
Okay.
Being you are
Yeah,
okay.
unmute. I'm here. Okay,
Good.
so thank you, Peter. Okay, so business owners, are you really, really, really very proud of your company? Because we are always looking for ways and means to educate and inform everyone that we are not just being certified. There's a process. As Peter mentioned, commitment, okay? Commitment. This is really, really a very big word for us. You know, Peter, when every time I do my product training and I discuss about the BioGrow certification, I always tell the business owners that the BioGrow certification is just like a birth certificate, okay? A birth certificate certifying that you are this person. I will ask them, who among you here or listening right now doesn't have a birth certificate? You know how important our birth certificate, because the birth certificate identifies who you are, when's your birthday, who are your parents. So it's a very important document. You cannot get your passport, you cannot enroll in school without this birth certificate. So the BioGrow is a certification. It's not just a certifying body, but it really identifies and telling everyone that we are certified organic. And we are very proud of that, Peter. And then maybe I can start asking questions from this came from also from the business owners. And then you can also send me a message if you have other questions. But for now, my first question is, what are we doing to ensure that we conform to certified organic laws?
Okay, so the farmer or anybody in the supply chain every year is audited according to the standards that BioGrow have. And so if you don't farm or operate according to those standards, then you won't have your certification renewed. It's as simple as that. And so everybody involved does their level best to operate according to the standards. If you don't, then your investment in getting certified is gone, and it's a really big thing. You know, no, we are checked every year, and everyone I know is very serious about conforming to the standards of being a certified organic producer.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the do you want to add anything, Bing, or should I go to the next question?
Yes, go to the second question at a minute.
Okay, one of the questions that was sent by our business owners is, why is being organic important?
Okay, I guess it's that I can best illustrate that by taking you back to the 1960s. And perhaps even earlier than that. In agriculture at that stage, there was a new wonder pesticide called DDT. And most of you will be not old enough to know about DDT, but DDT was used everywhere. And it killed pests, and farmers thought it was a wonder pesticide. Okay? It was an organic organophosphate is the type of pesticide it was. Now, everywhere where that pesticide was used, even though it's been banned for decades, in the soil, you can still find in tiny parts per million traces of what we call DDE or DDD, which are sort of degraded forms of DDT. That's decades after we started putting this stuff on the land, okay? So what organic certification, what organic production is doing is saying, no, I'm not going to use pesticides and fertilizers like that that can damage Mother Earth in that sort of way. And so generally, I think you'll find that if you produce organically, the taste, the texture, the naturalness of the resulting produce is, in my opinion, higher. I mean, sometimes I get some organic lamb from the farm. Okay, one of the benefits of being so close to the production is that sometimes I get special things given to me. I get an awful lot of barley powder, but sometimes the farmer says, "Oh, Peter, would you like a little bit of lamb, bit of meat?" And invariably, it tastes absolutely beautiful. So yes, organic is cool, you know. But yeah. So does that answer the question, Minnie?
Yes, I agree with you, Peter, because why is organic important? Organic produce simply tastes better, okay?
Yeah.
It simply tastes better. It's wildlife friendly.
Yeah.
It contributes to the improvement of soil, okay? So that's very, very important to us, okay? Some of our business owners, the elite group especially, had the chance, and I myself had the chance to visit our farm, and it's really, really awesome. It's tremendously, the air is clean, the alluvial soils, the water is fresh, and I could really smell the barley, you know, that's what I really like, okay? So the next question coming from our business owners is, what sets BioGrow apart? I know there are other certifying body, but why BioGrow? What sets BioGrow apart?
You know, honestly, the two certifying bodies in New Zealand are both reputable and good organisations. It's probably that we were involved with BioGrow first, and they are the longest, I think they're the longest serving certifying body in New Zealand, and certainly the biggest certifying body. They've got the largest number of certified organic registered licensees. They are granted their status by the New Zealand government. So the New Zealand government says this body is fit to make sure that all the organic producers in New Zealand are meeting the standards. And sometimes that means that it's representing New Zealand's reputation to other countries. So they have to be very, very reliable and a very good organisation.
Yes. Ate Minette, I think you have a question also.
Yes, I have another question. One of the things you mentioned, Peter, during the presentation was about an independent checker on how we operate. That's one of the requirements. So it's like the auditor is being audited also.
Yes.
So what is a checker? Are they farmers or agriculturists, Peter?
They typically will be a person who has got experience in the industry that they are auditing in. So if I am a arable farmer, like I grow barley, they will have some knowledge of that sort of farming. if I am a horticulturalist, I grow apples or I grow other fruit, they will have been working in that industry. If I am a honey producer, they will have had some experience in that industry. That's the first thing. The second thing is that they will have full knowledge of the organic standards, and they're accountable for enforcing those. The third thing is they generally will have a university degree in agricultural or horticultural science. The auditor, Joy McLeod, who audits me as an exporter, was at university with me many years ago, and she did a degree in horticultural science, whereas I did a degree in agricultural commerce. So I know Joy, and I know she's a highly experienced operator. So generally they are that sort of people. They need to be not only experienced in the industry, they also need to be, they need to have the scientific or commercial background to be able to do the auditing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would
Thank
like
you, Peter. I think, maybe Bing, I'd like to add to that. When we were getting our BioGrow certification for our toll manufacturers here, the checker had to go inspect the warehouse, inspect the toll manufacturer, find out where what pesticides are used, where we have they check everything. And if anything does not pass, then we don't get the certification. So we're one of the first in the Philippines, and we're really very proud of that.
Yes. So everything is being checked, okay, from the manufacturer to producer to the retailer and to us, making it sure that the barley products that we get, that we buy from our offices or from the branches are really certified, pure, and organic. Okay, so I would just like to read some of the phone-in questions because there's a question here that I believe Mr. Peter mentioned before. I think he was able to check New Zealand. He was one of those who visited New Zealand. He was just like to ask, what's the difference of the barley grass in New Zealand and other countries, say Australia or Japan, or I know it's in the soil.
Yes.
Maybe you can add more.
I think in my experience of being involved with producing certified organic barley, I've travelled to Europe, I've travelled to Japan, I've travelled to other parts of Asia, and everywhere I've gone, because I'm interested in selling New Zealand product, I've gone into health food shops and things like that, and I've bought product from Australia, and I've bought product from Japan, I bought product from China, and I bought product from Europe. And it is, and often I put it on a big, large white piece of paper, and I put our product next to their product. And it's not just the fact that I'm a loyal New Zealander, passionate about our industry here. I just think ours is better. It's certainly greener, much, and it's often. And I think it's just because where we're growing it in New Zealand has got just a right amount. It's a Goldilocks sort of zone for growing cereals, and cereals I mean wheat and barley. It's just the soil, the alluvial soil, the temperature, the climate, and the skill of the farmers all come together to make a really, really good product. It's not saying that some other places don't do good product. The Japanese actually do really good barley, because they got really interested in barley many years ago, and they grow good barley. But the thing is, they grow it on farms that are about the size of my front lawn. So you know, we grow it by the ton and at high quality by the ton. The Japanese grow it high quality by the kilogram. So, you know, the Australians have got heaps of land and they grow barley, but generally their climate is very dry and quite harsh. And it's, you know, I'm not taking anything away from them, but it's harder for them to get the same levels of chlorophyll and greenness that we get. Because when you're growing barley, you can never starve it of water, and you must always give it enough NPK. Okay, it's got to have enough critical nutrients to grow it well, and it's difficult to do that in the Australian sense, particularly with the water. So yes, ours is better. How's that?
Yes. It's just like saying, okay, business owners, no, when we say mango, it should come from the Philippines, right?
Same thing. Same thing.
Right.
I grew up having Dole pineapple.
Oh, yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
And there's not a pineapple won't grow in New Zealand. It's too cold. So when I think of pineapple, what do I think of? I think of the Philippines.
Yes.
You know, I think of mangoes. I think of the Philippines. You know, you guys got that. We got the barley. That's what happened.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that. Okay, so there's a question from Apple Chico. In the process of certified organic farming, part of it is giving back to Mother Earth. Okay,
Yes.
so how important is it to give back, return the nutrients to the soil in our farm for sustainability and longevity of our farm in New Zealand?
Okay, so every year as part of the audit, the auditor will be interested that the farmer is increasing a number of things. One is the organic matter level of the soil. So soil is not dirt, soil is soil. And a big part of organic farming is making sure you take care of the soil. And by that, I mean you take care of all the little creatures that live in the soil, but be they bacteria or worms or nematodes or whatever. All those creatures play a part in the life of the soil. Generally, soil is made up of a number of things. It's made up of the sort of solid material. It's made up of gaps between the solid material, and it's made up of water, and it's made up of all the creatures that live in it. And as an organic farmer, you've got to keep improving that. And generally, what we do is apply compost, a lot of compost, say 10 tonne per hectare on a regular basis. And what happens? That builds up the organic matter. Increasing the organic matter gives more places for the bacteria and the microfauna to live in. You also are very careful not to compact the soil. That would break up the structures, reduce the amount of the air gaps inside between the solid particles. So yeah, there's a huge amount of work that goes into making that improving all the time. I have just done some videos that perhaps we'll be able to show one day of Tim talking about some soil and showing us the worms at Harts Creek Farm. So perhaps people get to see that one day. Yes,
yes, I agree with that also. Okay, so another question, phone-in question. There are others that are confused with the organic wheat, and they will ask, is it gluten-free and organic the same? Because I've seen it from the video that you've said, the one that the grasses doesn't, barley grass doesn't have a ring. Yeah. It has a ring, okay? So what makes the difference between the organic wheat and the wheat, okay, and the barley grass?
Okay, so obviously wheat and barley, you know, some people consume wheat. wheat and barley are two different plants.
Yes.
They're both cereal plants. They're not altogether dissimilar. In some parts of the world, people tend to take more wheat than they do barley. It's been my experience right from the time in the 80s that that barley got really popular through the work of the Japanese, that people in Asia seem to prefer barley, markedly so. Barley as a plant is, how would I say it? It's faster growing.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to, it's not quite as robust as wheat in the winter, but it's the stuff that, it's a different plant. Both of them have benefits. I believe that barley is probably more tried and true in terms of its nutrient benefits.
Yes, because they are confused if our barley has a gluten, because
gluten. Okay, gluten. Okay, so you know that if you leave barley to grow, you don't cut the leaves, then it will push up one stalk and then form grains on the top. And those grains can be used in a variety of foods, for brewing beer, for using in alternate types of breads and things like that. We don't do that. We cut the leaf before that happens. And so you can't categorically say that no, that we never had a head ever got through the thing. But generally speaking, every time it's been tested, it is proven to be gluten-free.
yes.
And that's less than 3 parts per million gluten. Okay. I would, generally speaking, we don't ever have the grains. The grains are what has the gluten in it.
Yes, so it's very clear, business owners, that our Sante is gluten-free. It's indicated in our boxes, and we also have a memo for that, certified, because others were confused. If they say it's barley, it has gluten. So the ones we are using, we do not have the gluten, because we just harvest the barley
leaf.
once. Okay.
Leaf. Yeah, you have you harvest the barley leaf. The barley leaf has no gluten in it. The barley grain has gluten in it, but we don't let it get there. We cut the leaves off before it starts to go up to become grain.
Yes, and maybe you can tell them about the harvesting, because I do understand there's no second harvest. When we do the harvest, the truck comes and then,
Generally not. So what will happen is that we plant the seeds and they grow up and they get about that high. The leaves get about that high. And if you've been to New Zealand, you've seen the harvest. You'll see the harvest. It's like a big lawnmower.
Yes.
And it cuts off the green grass. Okay. And the farmer can do 2 things after that, or 3 things actually. They can graze off what's left by animals, by sheep or cattle. They can plow over what's left. They can let it regrow. Sometimes they'll let it regrow and then harvest grain for seed or for other products. But generally we don't harvest twice unless it comes away really strongly. The leaf comes away again really strongly and really healthily. And sometimes, we might cut it twice. That is absolutely that's not second class. In fact, it can regrow really, really beautifully,
Yes, yes. I agree with that because I've seen it how you harvest. As I've
Yes.
said, some of our leaders, you will have all your chance as long as we work hand in hand. You can visit the farm in New Zealand. It's an organic farm. Okay, Peter is doing a great job in in taking care of our farm in New Zealand. Okay, so gluten is found in grain, not in the leaves. So for
Yes.
everyone, okay, our product has been tested to be gluten free. Okay, we have FDA approval to claim this. That's why it's written in our packaging. Okay, so do not be afraid because others are still asking. Okay, so this is to inform everyone that our barley, our Sante barley, is gluten free. Okay, Ate Minette, what can you say about the gluten products that that has I mean in the market? What is it all about?
Yeah, perhaps one of the reasons why our business owners are concerned is because of the celiac disease or gluten intolerance. Asians have been found to not be gluten intolerant. It's mostly Westerners who cannot tolerate gluten, and especially when they have been diagnosed with celiac disease. So it's sometimes it's just like uh, an overblown fear. But there's not really anything to be concerned of because I would like to repeat, we are barley grass, not barley grain. Now,
That's right.
perhaps when we come out with beer, Sante
Yes.
barley beer,
Yes.
Sante
Yes.
beer,
You got.
Peter,
Yeah.
which
That you
comes
might have.
from barley grain, then then maybe we will not put gluten free because
Yeah.
that's made from grain. So who wants to have barley beer, Sante
Yeah.
brand? I'm just
Well.
kidding, okay? Kidding.
Yes, okay. So business owners, do not be afraid because we want everyone to be healthy. Remember, we have a mission to help people live better lives. So that's why we have to be very, very sure of our products. Okay. So
Ben, can I just make a quick point about that?
yeah.
When we are farming for leaf,
Mhm.
um, we do some things that are different than farming for grain. So if you're farming for grain, say you want to harvest for grain for beer or bread or whatever, your interest is getting as many grain heads as you can. When we're doing leaf, we have a different method. We have a very thick sowing. We sow the seed at a very high level so that the leaf grows up. We're interested in getting as much leaf as we can. We're not interested in getting grain.
Mm.
Okay. And if you could see the harvest process, you would see that the leaf is cut off before it's anywhere near producing grain. It's not even close to producing grain. So be confident. You haven't got grain in it. It's just purely leaf.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So okay. So there's a question about the 3-year journey to organic certification.
Yeah.
So why 3 years? Although you've discussed it, because in the first year you have to be registered, and the second year there will be conversion. And why 3 years? Can we shorten it to 1 year? What's the importance of this? You just
Um,
want to
I,
emphasize on the
I
3 years.
think I think generally farming processes happen over quite a long time. Okay. So the first thing you do is once you've taken, once you have decided to become certified organic, you may have been using pesticides or non-organic fertilizers before that. So you need then to make sure that that is well out of the system before you become certified organic. So 3 years is a good time to make sure that everything that's gone on beforehand has been done away with, and you're using purely certified organic operations, and that either the animals or the grain or the leaf or whatever that you're getting out of your farming system has been produced using the correct certified organic methods. So it takes that long.
Oh yes, so no shortcuts.
No shortcuts.
We cannot.
No shortcuts. Yeah, and think about it this way, guys. If you have made that decision to become a farmer who's using certified organic principles, you've decided to give away shortcuts. You can't use nitrogen, or you can't use artificial nitrogen fertilizer. You can't just spray a poison on some bugs. You've got to find other ways of doing it. And so you're putting your livelihood on the line. Mm-hmm. You heard Tim say, he was 26 years old and full of confidence, but had very little understanding. It's a serious business to put your whole business on the line to use these sort of techniques. You there, Ben?
Yes, I agree with that, because we can't do shortcuts. By the way, Peter is a graduate of a bachelor of degree in agricultural commerce, right, Peter?
Yes,
You're a graduate of that from Lincoln University. So Peter knows his craft well. You know what I like about Peter is when we are doing our travel in New Zealand, he would stop, okay? And then he will check the leaves. And then he will, this is the manuka. This is he knows the name of the trees and every plant that we see. Okay, he's really a teacher. You're a professor. Okay, so thank you for all the information, because your experience in this field is really, really incredible. And thank you for that. I know there'll be no more questions from our business owners. I think I don't have any more questions. By the way, we have 250 plus in Facebook business owners listening, and we are here 137 plus in Zoom. So that makes almost 400 plus listeners. Okay, so anyway, this is recorded. We can do a rerun of this so we can listen more, and then we can always understand the certification or the path to organic certification. Okay, so with that, I would like to ask your last message, Peter, for our business owners, for our beloved business owners. I'd like to ask for your last message to them.
Yes, well, it's always been a wonderful experience to be working alongside the business owners, and I'm always challenged and motivated and humbled by the stories of what people have achieved through doing the Santé business. It's really, really marvelous. Sometimes people talk to me when we're on farm tours or I'm in the Philippines, and I hear their stories about the sort of things they've been able to do for their families, and and I'm humbled because you get out there and you take this marvelous product and you go and take it to the market personally, and it's a wonderful thing. So we here in New Zealand take producing the product really, really seriously. We take it very seriously, and we want to give you the very best product that we can. Now, I know sometimes, say, the color varies a little bit from time to time. It's because we don't mess around with it. Sometimes Mother Nature deals the cards. It's a bit lighter some years than other years. I know from everybody who works here in the supply, they love working with Sante. They love working with. They particularly love having people coming out and visit because it's inspiring to us. So yeah, we'll keep working here, and we'll keep producing simply the best certified organic barley in the world. And I want you guys to be confident that that's what you're marketing. It's really cool stuff. And if you do come out here and you visit the farms, I hope that you you realise that they're very beautiful places. You know, they're very clean and they're very nice, and the stuff's coming from a cool place. So thank you very much for the opportunity to talk about this. I have loved it.
Thank you, Peter, for your message to our business owners. Ate Minette, can I have your message to our business owners?
Yeah, in this time of pandemic, I hope every one of you is taking our very good product, Sante Barley. It's unforgivable if you're selling it and you're not drinking it. Okay, so that's my last message. I hope everyone is taking our products.
Yes,
Okay, Sante
yes.
business owners, let's grow the business, let's grow the market, and you become the CEO of your own company. Congratulations to everyone for being here.
Thank you for that message, Ate Minette and Peter. Okay, so as we end this highly interactive, maraming salamat, Peter Ho at Ms. Minette Carag. And I would like to state the message again. Being healthy does not mean changing our lives overnight. What we choose to do each day of our lives is what will determine the kind of person we want to be. What matters is how we respond to what is happening to our environment. The challenges that come our way, each day is a blessing. That's why it's called the present. Today is the present. Crisis or no crisis, the grass is always greener in Sante Barley. I'm Bing Kalinawan, your corporate products specialist. Let's live more and do more with Sante. Maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat lahat, business owners, for listening and staying with us. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat, Kuya Pedro Pag-asa.
Maraming salamat.
Announcement lang for tonight, there will be a doctor's wellness training by Dr. Mike Vergara at 7 o'clock. And he will be discussing about the barley and the vitamin C. Okay, so that's tonight for 7 p.m. Thank you, and again, maraming salamat. Thank you, thank you.